Hello, it's Nikki and welcome back to a brand new week. This week it's going to be slightly different because I'm going to be using the same example over the next 4 episodes because I've realized more and more so when I'm working with clients that holistic way of looking at things is part of my secret sauce. I am never, and I guess this is why I do more than one thing, I'm never just looking at one part of your business as an incidental topic. The way that we have to view things is to see how it fits in with the mix of everything else. So this one example today, you will see and how it shows up and what happens over the next few episodes. So if you're not subscribed to my Substack or my YouTube or following along, do so because then you'll get notified of the next episode. So we are beginning on episode 1, all about the goal setting element. So if you are just joining for the first time, on a Monday, I always start with goal setting, dreaming big, strategy chat. Sometimes it's at the other extreme of what the heck am I doing with my life? I need to make some mega moves. And that general motivation and that sense that you can absolutely do this. Because I don't know about you, but I feel that I am all the things to everybody else sometimes. Even getting 2 children out the house in the morning to school, I feel like I'm packing them up for a fortnight away. And there's so many different messages, like there's a lot of logistic admin, the mental load, people call it. And so I really have to carve out this time for what I'm doing and be strategic in that way, because then if I know why I'm doing it, I can plan accordingly. So in 2016, December, I had some headshots taken. And I'd just signed, or I was about to sign, I think. I was about to sign. It was all sort of a similar time with a new agent. I'd also had my baby, my son, in October 2015. And he didn't sleep till he was 3.5. So 14 months later, December 2016, I was still very much in that like, whoa, new mum, not sleeping, what's happening, what's going on situation. However, we had always operated in a 2-income household. We'd always both been freelance, and so we needed to figure it out. And so even though I was absolutely cream crackered, I had been working pretty much throughout and had set my maternity leave up to support that time. But it was around that time where I thought, right, okay, I need a plan. I'm going to put pen to paper and I need to think about where I go next. And getting new headshots that reflected this new version of this person that I had become was really, really clear, because with the best will in the world, my face had changed. I felt very different as a person. So even looking back at previous headshots, I was like, oh, wow, I look so fresh. They didn't feel representative of where I was. And so many of us have this moment when it comes to knowing that we've got to make a move. And it always has to come with us first, start with us first. Because it can be easy to be swayed by a compelling sales page or some great marketing or some fancy result that somebody's got. And, oh yeah, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that world. It's very enticing. But what I'm talking about are those moments that are much more internal. Those moments where you say, whew, okay, it's time. It's time to step things up, to move into this next chapter. And I've always done that in my business over the last 25 years, running a personal brand. I was chatting to somebody the other day who I was at drama school with, and we were talking about we've always had our eye on the prize. And investing in myself and moving out of my comfort zone and being comfortable with change and new chapters has become part of my personality, because I've needed to do that, to remain in the game for so long, but also to be agile, to be focused to do what I need to do. So here are 5 exercises that I'm going to give you today with that story in the background of headshots and doing this thing. Oh, also, I should say, I've booked for the next set of headshots. And I've had some others for more business things, but acting headshots, I haven't had any for a long time. Anyway, they are booked in with the same photographer. And before we start, I also should say, this investment that I made in 2016 has not only lasted me to this moment, we're now in 2024, that feels like a long time. So 5.5 years. Am I doing the maths right? 7.5 years. And they've made me thousands and thousands of pounds. And I think before we make an investment, sometimes we feel it's really scary. And sometimes the money feels scarce and can we really do this and all of these things. But I want to give you a positive experience of this. Also, I should just say, I have invested in things before and been like, this was not what I needed, or oh, I thought it was going to be something else, or that person's a really good marketer because I thought I'd get all of this and I didn't. Anyway, back to the positives. So when we are looking through the gaze of goals, I want you to go back to basics of what do you want to be, do, have, and feel. And in terms of this, I was very clear about the kind of career I wanted. And coupled with that, I was also thinking about life as well. So my baby being 14 months at the time, there was no point sort of saying, I want to live this nomadic lifestyle and do X, Y, and Z, because my focus was to be at home at that stage. And when I look back on that time, however difficult and hard and challenging and poor it was, it was some of the greatest time. And I look at my relationship with my son now. He's about to be 9 next month, and we're close as anything. And I do think that it has been part of that moment. Anyway, no shade if your setup is very different. We're all living very different things. There's also many things that I am not doing well. Anyway, so be, do, have, and feel. Getting a big piece of paper and a pen and putting it into columns. What do you want to be, do, have, and feel? And being clear about, and I did this in terms of my career. What does it look like? What's it all about? Where am I going? What's the North Star here? Because so often when we're busy, or if we're in that point where we know we need to make a change and it feels a bit sticky and it feels perhaps out of reach, we get stuck in the here and now. And so zooming out and being able to see that big vision is always really, really useful. Number 2, I focused on the why of this purchase. So I figured out that if I could get some fresh headshots, and I'd signed with this commercial agent at the time as well. I'm still with him. He's brilliant. I knew that if I got this headshot right, if I got the casting right, if I met the right people, and if I worked on my acting ability, which I've always done for years and years now, I knew that I could land jobs. And I also knew that if I landed these jobs, these kinds of money that we're talking about would change my life in a way that I could earn a certain amount of money in a day or 2-day shoot that would see me very comfortably for a certain amount of time. That's different for everybody else. But what I'm saying is, some of these adverts, they pay a huge amount of money. And one particular advert that I've done has allowed me, it's been bought out from various places around the world. And yeah, it's been very good to me. Let's just say that. So being really clear as to why I'm doing this thing. And I'm saying this because sometimes when you're in that, I'm moving out of my comfort zone, I need to come up with something, I need to think about something, This is the point where you can get easily distracted, where you can feel like, oh, I need all of the things, or I don't know what to buy, so I won't buy anything. And you can get really stuck and overwhelmed. So linking it again to, okay, in the be, do, have and feel, I want to be at home more, I want to be present, I want to be able to earn money, we want to move. We had that in, we didn't move until 2021, but that was in my eye. And so making that connection, it suddenly made it very clear, okay, I've got this chunk of money, so what am I going to do with it to get me closer? And I knew that that was an easy win there. Number 3, what are the steps that are going to get me there? So booking a headshot shoot was one of the steps. And coupled with that was, who is going to help me match that vision? This is something that comes up a lot with my clients, and when I see conversations, especially amongst women, many of us are very concerned with being a nice person, being gentle, all of these traits that maybe we have inherently, but we've been nurtured and conditioned to have. So the amount of times where it's like people, women especially, they struggle to give feedback because they don't want to be overly critical, or they want to be nice to everybody. So they don't make a decision when actually what they need to do is step into a leadership role and go, right, this is what we're doing. This is what's happening, and really take it from the front. So when I was thinking about this vision, I was thinking about a photographer that I knew that was going to get the best from me because I love the photos, but one that I would be able to be honest with, because I've had those headshot shoots over the years with various people who like, yeah, darling, that's it, turn your red, beautiful, give me a bit more sex in those eyes. And you're like, whoa. 14 months into having a baby boy, I was not in that like, give me a bit more sex in the eyes situation necessarily. Not with a person that I'd never met either. So I really had to think about who was going to match, what was going to be the right flavor. And this could be for you if you're investing in a coach or a course, what that sort of relationship's going to be like. Maybe you are at a stage where you need that tough love, or maybe you are at a stage where you need that bespoke support, or maybe you're at that stage where you just need a course and you're like, actually, I do not want to show up every Tuesday night for the next 12 weeks. I need to get on with this in my own time. I've recently just completed a course that I purchased, and I loved that it had no live contact, because this person is in LA, and sometimes that time zone with me in London can be tricky. So that was perfect for me. That was great. 2 final things. How do I begin the process of doing this thing? So sometimes this is you paying a deposit. Booking in the date. Maybe this is you saying to your partner or lunch with a friend and really airing what is on your mind, what's on your heart, and saying, do you know what? This is something I need to do. Sometimes this is you showing up for yourself and writing a list as to why you need to do this right now. What are the pros for this? What's the cons? Because once again, so many of us can get stuck in this, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know. And that becomes our whole personality. So really thinking about how you can begin this process is really, really key. Finally, how do you prepare for the thing? So I am I'm a A-grade super geek type personality. I'm there early. I've done my homework. I'm ready. I've carved out the distractions. And sometimes that's meant that before that moment has happened, I'm doing all of the things. I'm bending over backwards. I'm planning meals 2 weeks in advance, or asking favors or having awkward conversations or doing all of these things. When I did this acting course last summer, it was 10 weeks. It was 6 till 9. I had to learn lines, I had to record stuff, I had to rehearse with other members of the group. Like, there were so many things that I needed to put in place and be able to put in my diary to make this thing happen. But I tell you what, for those 10 weeks, I didn't miss a moment. I was there, I was prepared. But I think so often people just assume these things just happen. It's all right for them. They just did that. Everything great seems to happen to them. No, most of the time you have to prepare. And so when I had this headshot shoot, for example, I knew we were going to be outside in December. I know that my hair goes super frizzy in that kind of cold, damp, wet weather, but we were going to shoot outside. So I got myself a fantastic blow dry. So my hair could just move. It was flexible. I could move it. I could do different looks, but ultimately it looked the best that it could do. Also, I thought about the shot list, the things that we were going to shoot on the day. I sent it to the photographer in advance. So she was prepared. It's all of these things. So often we are looking to mentors, we are looking to other people on the internet. We are outsourcing what our homework should be. So when I am coaching, when I'm working with somebody, I want to know in advance what they want to look at on that particular day. I don't want them just to go, well, what do you think I should do next? I want them to be the driver of their hopes, their dreams, their wishes. And I am there to support them, to hold them accountable, to be a cheerleader, to show like the 360. Well, if you just did this, or like, why is this happening? All of that sort of stuff. I can give them that other perspective. But all of these things I guess this whole video has been the opposite to when people say, I just made a decision. Yes, I made a decision to get new headshots, to make an investment in my business, as I have done so many times in my business over the years. But ultimately, it has to come down to making the decision. That's literally step 1, 0.5% of the process. If it was one of those surveys online, you'd be like, oh, wow, I've got 99.5% of this to keep going. That's when you need to get into action and move it forward. Because sometimes people go, I bought the course, so now what? And it's like, you have to do the course. You have to go through the whole thing. You have to make it happen. Come back tomorrow. We're talking about money tomorrow. It's going to be a great one. As I mentioned, subscribe, follow along. Grab your piece of paper and a pen. There's going to be more in this tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Lots of love. Bye.